Board meeting to order. Please take the roll.
Baylor,
Here.
Holden,
Here.
Klibowitz,
Here.
Sardina.
Here.
Are there any persons desiring to be heard by the building board? None. Consideration of the minutes from October 21st.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from October 21st.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. New business, we have two occupancy permits before us. The first is for Medicraft Corporation, doing business as the doctor's office, located at 12701 West Hampton Avenue.
Yes, so this is kind of been in the process for a while. We had the rezoning request come in. We had building permits pulled, and then we also had them do their CSM to combine the three lots. The owner of the business and the property are here, Mr. Fedigan. I did provide to the board the PDF slideshow that he provided me last week, kind of outlining what the business is about. We kind of heard about this late last year, and it kind of has transitioned into now coming before us again today. So if you have any questions for them, they are here to answer them or provide a presentation if you would like to have them talk about the business in person.
Okay, I personally have no questions. Does the board have any other questions?
No.
Does the board desire to see the presentation?
I was kind of looking at it. It's pretty much, I mean, we've seen it before, some of it, right? So I don't think this is anything new to anybody on the board.
Okay. Was that, so that wasn't part of the packet?
That was not part of the packet. That was provided afterwards.
Yeah, secondary.
Okay.
Mr. Fedig, did you have anything that you wanted to state to the board?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We've talked about it before.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
before, so I think you're somewhat familiar with what we do.
Yep.
No, okay. If there's no further questions by the board, I'll make a motion to approve the occupancy permit for Medicraft Corporation, doing business as the doctor's office at 12701 West Hampton.
I'll second that.
Tom, all in favor, say nay. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And that motion passes. So we're all set. Thanks for being here.
Yep, and thanks for working with Ben.
And we'll reach out tomorrow with regards to next steps.
Okay, thank you.
You too.
Okay, the next item is for the Butler Stop LLC, doing business as the Derby District, located at 4753 North 124th Street.
Yes, so this is a reapplication that is coming before you. Aaron and I have worked back and forth with Jay, who is here. He is the owner of the business and of the property. We've gone back and forth on things that we would like to see. I did include with the packet kind of a memo that was submitted to Jay, kind of asking for stuff about that we would like to see in the business plan. I included his responses to those. I then did include my my follow-up with him, kind of stating some of the concerns that I had with the business plan, where they weren't super specific. They provided answers to the questions that were asked. However, I felt like the answers weren't adequate. As I stated in the email, there was concerns that I had where it was talked about disorderly patrons. They said that they would ask them to leave firmly but politely, but then there was no follow-up. If they said if the person didn't leave, there was no follow-up on how they would then, further, escalate the situation, or I should say de-escalate the situation. So it's just those types of examples that I had questions on, and I didn't really get the full gist. I did provide Mr. Valia the opportunity to provide more information. In the email that you saw in the packet, he said that he was comfortable with it going to you guys. We did send out an amended kind of business plan that included some security items on the bottom part that was handed to us this morning. Aaron did send that out via email today, so I hope that you received it and were able to review it. But Davina and Jay are both here to answer any questions that the board has.
as far as that second one that came out, really the only thing that was added to it was they're gonna call the police.
Yeah, I think it was cameras and
Right.
for the security too.
Other questions from the board?
It's kind of just what we've seen the last two times.
How does
Not a lot
this,
has changed. right?
okay, how does this play into the rooming house?
So as of right now, the occupancy permit does not include the rooming house. The rooming house is empty. There is nobody that's living there at this point, and the occupancy if it were to be approved, would not include the rooming house at this point.
Were there a lot of problems when they were open before?
This particular business for the bar was never open. The rooming house was operating, and that had several instances that required police response.
But when it was Scoops and
When it was
Derby District, there
Scoops
were
and
no
Derby
problems?
District, I would refer to Chief Zalewski on specific calls. I believe that there was some issues that occurred there, but I'm not familiar with all the ins and outs of every call that might have happened.
How does that compare to the Cardinal Club?
I would need some time to look up some information, but I also believe it was under previous ownership, so I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, Scoops was the previous owner, right?
It was Brett and then Templa after Brett passed away.
And overall, the owner of the building is, Jay's the business owner, but overall the business owner is the W.
So Jay owns the W.
Oh, okay.
And they're
So-
two separate. Yeah, Jay owns the W, and they're two separate business. Well, technically, it's kind of three separate
Yeah.
business entities.
Okay, I didn't realize it's the same person.
So the liquor license, do they have their liquor license?
No.
I know they had talked about having to buy one from Pewaukee or.
Correct. So that was in front of the village board a couple months ago. That was tabled after the denial of the occupancy permit.
Right. Is there any issues with the village having more liquor license than we actually own?
Well, the resolution that was passed by, and we had conversations with the state, the resolution that was passed by Pewaukee did grant it to us. So we do have that license. The last step of that would be the transference of the Butler stop, giving us the 30,000, then us passing that on to Pewaukee. So we do have that extra license. It's a weird thing with the liquor law that's kind of hard to explain, but we do technically have it. They have one less now because of that resolution. We have one more. It's just the final step of getting that transferred permanently would be that $30,000.
So are we on the hook, if you will, for this license regardless of what happens here?
No.
And Pewaukee gets revenue for the license.
The one-time $30,000, yes.
And we get,
And then we don't get any of that, but then we get that license and we'll get the $600 every year subsequent. And then if and when that license were to become available again, we would then get $10,000 when that business.
seems like we get ripped.
That's what happens when you buy the license. It's a one-time
Yeah, but
transfer.
we're not
and
buying
then-
it. So the village isn't
Yeah.
really out nothing, right? That's what I just wanted to make sure
Correct,
that.
yeah. Yeah,
They made a
we're the
resolution to give it
pass-through.
to us and then we're stuck with a $30,000 license. and
Correct, yeah,
we
it's a
don't-
pass-through, yep.
So if this doesn't work, then it stays with Pewaukee.
Yes, and if another business were to come in and say, we want that license, and they can demonstrate to the board,
Or does it just sit
XYZ.
in limbo? is that what you're saying?
It's kind of sitting in limbo right now. So if there's a business that moves into Butler, wants to have the license, they pay the 30,000, they get past the occupancy permit process, we grant them the license through the approval process laid out by state statute, they would be able to get it. It's not just for
Kind of a
one.
separate issue.
Well,
Yeah.
not really, because I want to make sure that we're not on the hook for a $30,000 license. So I think it
We're not.
is kind of a,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanted that clarification on
Sure.
it.
So, other thoughts, questions from the board on the occupancy at hand? I don't see a whole lot of movement from the last time we denied it. It would be my thought.
Yeah, I mean,
Other than the fact that the rooming house is already empty. But
Yeah, the rooming house is empty, and then we have, a written document kind of outlining some of those aspects. Like I said, they answer most of the questions and points that Aaron was asking in that memo.
Yeah.
But like I said, I still am wanting more clarification.
sure, and the memo that they put forth is appropriate.
And I'll just make a note that the reason why I'm kind of harping on this business plan is because that's what is also necessary to pass the liquor license
Sure.
per ordinance. So if even if they get past the occupancy permit process, they still wouldn't be able to sell any type of alcohol until they gave us that
Understood.
business license or that business plan.
to Mark's point, there's been no movement of, one of our concerns was who's running it and what that looks like. And it's pretty much the same thing that we got the last couple times, right? It's just, we'll hire people and we'll train them, but who's training, right? I mean, there's no true manager of this facility yet, right? Who? Please come up.
Hi, sorry for that, this last 2 months, I've been under the weather a little bit. The last time I didn't leave, that's why I had somebody else, on behalf of me. I want to tell you just about me. I'm not, in the little bit of the bar and, what we were prepared for today, the way I understood it. I'm from Jewalia, and, I've been living in this neighborhood since 1983. I am local. I've been living for 115 and this one since 1983. And my son lives in Montreal. So I'm local for a long time. This is my living. And another thing is last night I was not there. I found out from chief, and I know this bar. From the past experience, from my experience, there was never was any issue with bartender or customer or client, but there was issue with ownership. So what happened is last time, Mr. Brad, if I understand correctly, Mr. Brad was, when he even bought the bar, he just bought it temporary, but his mother was here. She said, I'm gonna go back to Texas and sell the bar. And so that he was not fully, he will open sometime, he was not open sometime. Unfortunately, he got stroke, he died. And then his girlfriend, I don't know how he got the license and stuff, Ben might know more, but she was running off and on, but not like a business, but she was open. And at least what I know, there was no any issue. The bartender or bar customers. And what happened is I was going to buy from her, but seems like legally she didn't have any right at the state. And I so it went to the bank, so I bought to the bank. So all I want to tell you about the bar, I love the people, I can follow what exactly the path is. But today, and then I know about, I talked to Ben, I talked to the police department, I talked to the fire department, everybody. And I know, and then one episode happened, that's what kind of made me like somebody mental issue in the moving house. And I think you remember it. And that was luckily it was controlled. That's what made me, it was lucky nothing bad happened. It was lucky I got I'm not going to leave the rooming house. So I said, whatever we have to do, I'm going to find out with that architect and everything, what can be done. And what your department, your structure is very nice. The housing, get rid of everybody, and we have no plan to open as a rooming house. But that thank God that day was false alarm, and but it was not his fault because of he is psychiatrist, he needed psychology help, psychiatrist help. But luckily nothing happened. It was controlled. Thank you for the police and your part. I think most of the department, I appreciate that. And so that's what made my final plan. I said, I'm not gonna, I don't care. So prior to that, we did, I hired a local architect. He made all the fire plan and everything. We did it right over there right now. And the fire department, is approved, the fourth one approved, there's no any fire department, according to the fire department I have, I think we have 5-2, otherwise you look up to the fire department, there's no any issue. Pass everything, what they recommended of me, did everything pass, I had heard of that. Same thing with the building department. I think the outside house, whatever, hopefully you will do according to them, right? It was approved by
The building inspector went through and said that there was no issues with the code.
Yeah, same thing with fire department.
Correct.
So, and then, so I thought today, but obviously, I'm not going to come in front of you later because thank God he saved me and saved, we don't want any, I don't want to be part of anybody die, because if I looked at it, there was no part of this part, but I know the other two rooming house, there was fire, and plus, I don't want to be in business where I have to worry about what will happen. And so basically, my thinking is, that's why we are in front of you just so far, and what my record knows. And then another thing is right now, I was not prepared today because my understanding was today is only for occupancy, which is related to, if building is, appropriate for that occupancy. I think that I have to come back in front of you or board for the liquor license. So what I did is one thing I'll say, I try to do it about me. I've been, mostly my business is gas stations, but I graduated from commercial law school and I do two homes in Far East, in downtown east side, Aqua, nightclub, in the east side of Milwaukee. And we did a good job and we sold it back a couple of years ago. Somebody paid high price for we did the initial, the day. And then I know that even the answer was, I know there's that answer was responded, like in case somebody come back, but if you see the drawing, obviously you don't start that. And the other person, I know there is a travel league has a plan and say, okay, if somebody doesn't want to do anything, try to get the team to do, something right or those kind of thing. Another thing is it's all depends on the municipality, what they want to do. And my plan was I'm going to talk to the chief, what they prefer, they prefer to take care of those things first, or we will follow. If we take improvement, then we come back to you, and then we come up with those plans. And actually, I have concern.
Yeah, and but I think we'd like to have a,
No,
I don't know that, I think you're kind of, I don't know if you're not understanding what's being said. That plan and all these things should be already to be brought before us. So an occupancy approval tonight triggers the liquor license, correct?
It
Or
would,
just-
what it would do is it would trigger the ability so the motion, again, without getting too deep into it, the motion before was um, to table the liquor license pending an appeal of the denial of the license. There was no appeal. There was that time period that has passed. So in my opinion, that liquor license that application is dead and would need to be reapplied for. So that approval today would trigger them to be able to go and apply for that liquor license and get in front of the board and be less obstacles in the way because they would have that occupancy. But to add to that, he's correct in that the occupancy permit is to determine that it's a good fit for the area, meets the zoning code. But again, it also is, because it's part of the zoning code, to make sure that it adheres to the general health, safety, and general welfare of the village, in that putting this business there, we know that it's not going to cause, a threat to public welfare, and not going to be putting a strain on resources and that type of stuff. So there's multiple parts of that. And again, we've been over the course, and as hopefully the board has seen over the course of the past couple months, we've been digging more and more and asking for more and more from these business owners to get these plans, so we know how these businesses are going to be run better, because we've just had bad luck in the past, not necessarily with this in particular, but we've just seen bad businesses come in here and become problems.
So the denial, so there was never any answer to that. Was there a reason why you didn't, go for that? Once it was denied, you didn't continue on with the process to,
I talked to Ben right away, Mr. Ben, and he suggested, you should, you can do it to both sides, you can apply for it. The reason I didn't appeal it, because I saw issue with myself. One thing is, I think it was not appropriately applied for occupancy because of that, legally, the Butler staff only going to occupy just the bar and restaurant area. And whatever reason, they applied the whole thing for the rooming house.
rooming house above, right?
So that was, plus I personally saw this big risk for the rooming house. So I decided that, obviously, I concurred with all your testament for because I think at that time, I was not there, I think the prices were there too, we were concerned about, because of typically I check more into the rooming house too.
Yeah, the rooming house
There is the
is kind of not on the docket so much anymore. So,
another thing is, because not only reason I'm saying that this is like, is the proper way to apply to the occupancy. So this is the only way better staff will do occupy. And then because that was, I don't want to feel to get the occupancy for the rooming house. Another thing is I talked to look at the whole situation, and because all was a problem in the past and now what's for rooming house and the plus I concur with what you guys decided that it was a risk of fire. So I decided to, so that's the reason with the advice of them, we decided to apply for this.
And I guess just to kind of bring us back to where we began here again, it's I just wanted to reaffirm, like, again, the what we've heard so far is not really addressing the concerns that at least the administration has put forward with regards to how the business is going to be operated. And again, because bars are typically more of a high risk business out of, just again, because there's alcohol being consumed and whatnot. My concerns haven't been addressed fully when it comes to that. And I've pointed Mr. Walia towards the most recent liquor license that was approved, which was the Charlotte Amore. They had, I think, a 6-page business plan that talked about their security measures, their cameras, their security guards, like all this type of stuff that they put forward. It was 6 pages, single spaced, pretty detailed.
Very thorough.
And again, Mr. Fettig's item on the agenda today had a multi-slide presentation on everything that was going on with that he provided us. Again, I'm kind of pointing to that with regards to the business plan. Like with Killer Deals, I sat down with him and we talked for a while with regards to how his business was going to function and how things were going to work. And we had talks about the semis and whatever. So I say all of that to basically say, these other businesses that have come before us in recent times have provided a much more detailed outline of what their business is going to do and how they were going to operate.
And that's what we're aiming for, in this season, is to have a little tighter mesh on the filter with who we approve and don't, for occupancies and everything. So I concur. We hear you.
And so I guess for right now, I would just ask that we let Mr. Walia know what parts of the business plan we need more information on, from the board level with regards to approval, and then we can bring this back when those items have been more properly addressed.
That's one way to respond or to handle this. I'm this whole process has been, less than easy.
The law was talking about yesterday. This is Mr. Perry, I have a plan to hire him, train, because that's what we are trying, this is his resume. And he has a lot of experience that he's supposed to do. We're gonna have all the time there'll be a manager on duty, and he has a lot of experience with restaurants and bar.
So that would be something that would be good to include in the next time that you present. So this is just not the way to conduct affairs like this, to put something up at us at the last moment like this. So just hold on. So those are kind of the points that you said that are still lacking are obviously things that are to be considered by the board. To me, also just the history of how this whole thing has unfolded has been undesirable and not what we're looking for who we give occupancy to. So does the board have any other questions?
No.
Does the board have a motion? If we deny, is there an appeal process still in effect?
There would still be the appeals process. And again, just because a denial does not mean that they can't reapply.
Yeah. Okay.
But again, the appeal process would be that they would be appealing that the denial was not proper. It's not that, it's not the Board of Zoning Appeals would not be hearing that. They would not overturn your decision. They'd basically say that we believe that they did not properly consider what was put in front of them, and we believe that they need to be reheard. And so it'd be brought back down to you for reconsideration. So either way, if the Board of Zoning Appeals were to approve the appeal, it would be coming back to you anyways. So either way, at this point, I would personally recommend against denial, just because it would end up back here probably in a couple weeks anyways.
And then put it on another board meeting, and
When
it's gonna come here anyways, right?
Well, it's going to come back here one way or another.
Right.
Whether we table it or deny it, it's going to come back here.
it'd probably end up coming back here, correct?
But there's a difference in what we're saying when we make either one, in my mind. Does anybody have a motion?
I make a motion to approve occupancy for Butler Stop LLC, doing business in Derby District, located at 4753 North 124th. And I'd like to see how that liquor license thing goes. I realize the plan is sort of incomplete. But, you know, I make a motion to approve it.
Okay, we need a second. Going once, going twice, so there's no second, so the motion fails. So in my mind, based on, again, the history and just how this has all unfolded, the whole history with this owner, I'm gonna make a motion to deny occupancy. Is there a second for that? We gotta do something, you guys. Okay, no second, so that motion fails also.
I'll make a motion to table this and give them some time to put together a solid proposal, a solid business plan. And then you can bring someone who you're hiring, which I think goes a long way, and really have some of your key people in place that have experience with doing that. Every time, like this is second, third, fourth time you're here, and we've seen different people. I mean, you've been here, you're solid, right? But it's always been someone else, making the case, right? So I think I'd like to table it with the time and work with Ben on exactly what he's asking for, and then bring it back to us.
And I would encourage whoever's going to be managing the establishment to come and talk to me as well.
Yep.
So then I can
And
get
I
a
think
better
when
idea.
I
because
say
that
talk
whole
with-
thing is new to me. I don't know who this gentleman is.
To my earlier point.
So I would like to have a
There's a motion
conversation.
to table so the applicant can work with the administrator. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Motion is made and seconded. Any further discussion on that motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Motion fails.
Well, I don't know. Pretty much of a stalemate. I'm not sure where to go from here. We need a motion of one sort or another on this item. I don't know what the fourth way would be. So Eric and Reed and Tom and I went against, okay. Tom, would you maybe share why you decided to, I kind of expressed myself, and you were in favor of occupancy. Would be
Well,
just because you're in favor of occupancy and not tabling, or?
I'm in favor of the occupancy.
Okay. Okay, then I'm going to repeat that motion to table so that the applicant can work with the administrator to get his affairs in order with a proper business plan and the other items lacking. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion is made and seconded again to table. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
So that motion passes to table. So are you clear where you stand on that then?
Yes.
Okay. So we did not approve occupancy tonight. This is tabled so you can get more of your affairs in order.
No problem with that. And
You guys will
Right,
be,
you work with Ben. Ben will, ask for what's needed. Ben knows what we're looking for.
yeah, it is.
And then you really need to be diligent in addressing everything that Ben is helping you with. Cause I mean,
I think I have the right guy.
all right, well, let's,
see.
we'll see you next round.
all right,
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
All right, to
Yep.
adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 6:05.